Welcome, folks, to the first ever episode of Reviews from the Crypt. Tonight's review, we're going to be talking about one of my personal favorite Tales from the Crypt episodes of all time. The Man Who Was Death. This episode stars Bill Sadler in one of his most iconic performances. When the episode starts, we get a grim look of a prisoner on death row in his final moments. That's where we hear the iconic voice of Bill Sadler as Mr. Niles Talbot.
This here is Charlie Ledbetter, sitting in his cell out the state penitentiary. Charlie's gonna die in a few minutes.
He's the executioner, or the Grim Reaper, if you will. Wait a minute. Didn't he actually play a Grim Reaper in something else? Okay, now that's ironic. Anyways, he's about to fry old Charlie here for 2 counts of murder. Yeah, he likes his job a little bit too much.
Now you all ready for your regulation 2 jolts the state requires?
Ruthless. Then, you can guess what comes next. Shit! I gotta say, the narration by Bill is extremely well written, even though he is one sick fuck. We then get a little backstory on Mr. Talbot here.
My name's Niles Talbot. I've been the executioner in this state for the last 12 years.
He really loves him some electricity.
I like electricity. It's dependable. You can trust it.
But his love for the shocky stuff may ultimately be the cause of his shocking demise. Niles goes into a nearby diner to grab a cup of joe when he sees a news report on the TV that's talking about getting rid of the death penalty, which will totally fuck Niles here out of his job.
The legislature is prepared to vote whether or not to rescind the death penalty in this state, only a few hours after the execution of Charles Ledbetter.
Yeah, he's out of work, but he still has a sensational love for electricity. So, he's got to get his bolts off somehow, right? He goes to a local bar to drown his sorrows when we see the legendary Roy Brocksmith as Vic the bartender. And he's basically adding more fuel to the fire. Or more power to the generator? After some taxi driver-esque dialogue.
It's all a big food chain. We eat shit and shit eats us.
We get an even closer look into just how crazy this dude is.
They know death is coming. They tease it. I like that.
Dark. We cut to a courtroom where this evil fuck here is on trial for murder. With a lack of evidence, the murderous fuck is free to walk.
Son of a bitch, you killed my brother!
Get the fuck back, will you?
And Niles isn't having that shit. And that's when he comes up with an electrifying plan.
And he ought to pay.
We then cut to Jimmy Flood pulling up on his bike. Even hearing his name alone, you know this guy's a piece of shit. Old Jimmy pulls up to park his bike, and whenever he's going to open up the gate, this happens. It reminds me of a giant bug zapper, don't it? Reports of Jimmy Flood's death are all over the news. But thing is, it's being ruled out as a freak accident. So old Niles got away with his dark crime scot-free. Well, for now at least. It's the next day and Niles is attending another trial where the 2 people being accused of murder are found not guilty.
The defendants have been found innocent of all charges and are free to resume their private lives. This court is adjourned.
So now he has 2 victims for the price of 1. These 2 scumbags are living the high life, kicking it in their fucking $1 million jacuzzi until good old Niles shows up to light up the party. Electrified justice. He then goes to a strip joint to scope out his next potential victim. Yeah, your boy is hooked.
I wonder how you gonna dance when I put 10,000 volts through your ass.
He's right about to shock the piss out of the exotic dancer when his equipment shits out on him, and then this happens.
Talbot, you are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
We cut to the police station where Niles has been booked, and Warden Havers comes in with a bit of shocking news.
You'll be glad to know the state legislature has just reinstated the death penalty. And guess who's not pulling the switch this time?
Niles is on death row, and he's begging and pleading for his life in hopes that the governor will call.
He's gonna call, he knows! When he does, you juice me before he fucking calls, you're all gonna get canned!
He doesn't call. Yeah, you know where this is going. Now that was a real shocker. Well, folks, that's it for this episode of Tales from the Crypt, The Man Who Was Death. One of my all-time favorite Tales from the Crypt episodes. Very dark and extremely in-depth view of a man's descent into madness. The performance in this episode by Bill Sadler is so iconic, and definitely in itself is a good enough reason to check it out. He just kills the role so perfectly. All I can say is, just go check it out for yourselves, folks. It's truly an electrifying time. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Reviews from the Crypt. See you guys on the next episode of Monster Mash. Boils and ghouls.